I was on this show with Mustafa Barghouti, who is a Palestinian physician and was a politician with the Palestinian National Initiative back in the day. He was a member of the PLO. He is kind of like obviously like a G in the general, anti-apartheid Palestine, Israeli apartheid movement. So you learn about Mustafa Barghouti when you're sort of learning about the issue. He's an incredible speaker and writer. And I was very surprised that he agreed to go on. And then the woman that I was also on with is the deputy mayor of Jerusalem. Now, that sounds cool, but when you realize Jerusalem is basically an occupied city that is supposed to be the holiest city in the world, jointly shared by 3 different religions, and yet is a surveillance state nightmare hall of mirrors that any prophet that you worship would look at and go, oh no, this is definitely bad. So look, Piers has changed his tune a little bit. Today he was pushing back on an Israeli spokesperson for the government, basically asking if they knew how many civilians had been killed, and he couldn't answer that. But here's how I would describe. People are like, what do you think of Piers Morgan? Is he down with Palestine? Is he not down with Palestine? Like, where does he stand? Why does he do these debates? What's going on? Let me explain something to you very quickly. Piers Morgan wants clicks. That is also in part why I go on his show. Because I'm like, look, there's eyeballs. There are people who find me from Piers Morgan. And if I say something interesting that people like, come on over to the Frantifa, baby. But Piers Morgan wants clicks and he wants to go on vacation. And ultimately, his ideology is this: I would like tea and biscuits. Why can't we all just have biscuits now? And why do people have to die? And if they die, isn't it their fault ultimately? And why do I have to care? Why do I have to pay attention to them? And why can't we all just party? I just want a tea party with biscuits, and I'm in news, and so I've got to pretend to care. And sure, I'll do it for the clicks, and I'll, pretend to push back, and it'll be fine. But ultimately, I just want to sit in a little pretty dress on a tuffet, and I want to be called Miss Muffet, and I want tea and biscuits. And why can't we all be, wealthy and rich and good looking? Why wasn't I invited to the Met Gala? I had a perfect outfit planned. And I can't do a posh British accent. I really cannot, clearly. But that is his ideology. There is no party. There is no moral center. It's just like, phooey. Oh, phooey. Anyway, so all right. I'm going to play this, and this is me last minute booked on Piers Morgan to talk about Israel-Palestine between Mustafa Barghouti and the deputy mayor of the city of Jerusalem, whose name is Fleur Hassan Nahum. And my God, and let me take you play by play on what I fucked up on, because sometimes it's early in the morning, it's 8 o'clock, and I haven't filed my nails. You know what I'm saying? I'm not a debater. I'm not debate ready, and I really should have gone harder.
I'm now joined by the current Deputy Mayor for Jerusalem and Special Envoy for the Foreign Ministry for Israel, Fleur Hassan Nahum, the founder and leader of the Palestinian National Initiative, Mustafa Barghouti, and for a US perspective, the commentator and podcast host, Francesca Fiorentini. Okay, well, that was a lively debate there I had. Fleur Hassan Nahum, what is your response to what you've just been listening to?
This pan is so indestructible that you could run it over with a tank.
No, I don't care. I don't care. Kill me.
I mean, I think if there's something more embarrassing than what happened on Saturday night, we just saw it now with this spokesman for the Iranian regime. he talks about, he takes all of the anti-Semitic and all of the anti-Israel tropes and he puts it all in one sentence with absolutely no truth and depth to it whatsoever, with the fact that ignoring the fact, talking about subjugation in his country, if a woman has 2 strands of hair showing, they arrest her and they beat her up in custody. They have been subjugating the Kurds for God knows how long. And all in all, what we are seeing here is a civilizational war between Iran that wants to bring back the world 500 years, that really doesn't believe in any of the liberal values that we all hold dear, against the free world. And what's really interesting is that Iran, up until Saturday night, did not show their hand. They were always working through proxies. They were working through Hamas, Hezbollah. They've taken and ruined Syria. They're working through the Houthis. They've been attacking American assets and British assets to the Houthis. They've taken over parts of Iraq. But this is the first time that they've actually shown their hand. And I think that they came out really badly from what happened on Saturday night. So I do agree with you, Piers, on that.
So this is in the wake, remember, like, again, a few atrocities ago, in the wake of Iran's, like, clearly symbolic attack on Israel. So this is what she was responding to. There was a guest on who was basically, like, talking about that strategy and was clowning on Piers really, really hard. And it was very fun to watch. And so here she is, and she's like, this is a war of civilizations. Gee, where have we heard that before? From Islamophobic racists like this woman. And this is, again, this is just, okay, we'll just watch. Fuck it.
Well, let me bring in Mustafa Barghouti. I mean, I found it curious the way that he tried to claim this was some great victory for Iran and that they had deliberately fired very cheap missiles and that they never expected them to work, etc., etc. None of that seemed very plausible to me. It seemed much more plausible that they fired off 300 missiles that got taken down, not just by Israel's Iron Dome, but also by some neighboring Arab countries. And what it did do was massively distract world attention from the ongoing Israel-Hamas war.
Right, like I was covering it very earnestly before this. And, you know, now I have forced to cover Iran. And ultimately, where are my biscuits? I would like tea and biscuits. Have me on again, Piers. I'll get your accent right.
Which I would not think is a good thing for you or for what you're trying to get the world to pay attention to.
Well, who started this terrible situation? It's Netanyahu. No, wait. It's Netanyahu who tried to distract the attention from the massacres he's committing in Gaza and the genocide that has taken the lives of 41,000 Palestinian, mostly civilian. 70% of them are civilians, women and children. 15,000 children slaughtered by Netanyahu, and more than 10,000 women. You speak about women's rights. You don't care about the fact that Netanyahu killed 10,000 women, Palestinian women. And Netanyahu provoked Iran to have a retaliation.
Okay, so if you look at Fleur, she has proud Zionist and feminist in her bio, right? And it is true that I looked up these numbers quickly in preparation for this interview, that 10,000 number of murdered women is true. And I get to the stats in a little bit later. And Barghouti is basically, like, you talk about feminism, calling her out on her own stuff. And so she obviously feels like, ooh, I feel a little fingered here. I'm going to have to start interrupting. And that interrupting does not stop.
So that, shut up, please, and let me finish. Shut up. No, you are.
Okay, so then, and this is the best thing about Dr. Barghouti, is that he, you know, obviously English is not his first language. But he also knows that shut up is not very polite. But he, instead of saying, like, please be quiet, let me speak, he just says, shut up. And this has kind of been like his MO, is to say shut up to Zionist propagandists. And it is at once jarring, but ultimately incredibly funny and entertaining.
You shut up to a woman. That's a very misogynist. If you interrupt me,
I will not talk.
Oh, it's misogynist. I'm being victimized by your clearly misogynist. Everyone knows that when you say shut up, that it is a stand-in for the C word. Shut up, C word. We all know that. Shut up is it's up. The shutting is actually the closing of the vagina that we are talking about. Like, how dare you say that to a woman? Come on, you out the gate have to make yourself a victim, and this is just wild. And you're the one interrupting. If you're gonna interrupt, you could. Here's the thing. this is a discussion of interruption. So interrupt. Say you're lying about the numbers and then shut up. Then shut up. Be like, you're lying about the numbers and then stop. He's going to tell you to shut up. He'll finish. Then you'll get to talk. And that poor little homie over there, this bitch, she ain't never going to get to talk except for a little bit. And she's going to try and get everything she can.
You
being
shut up
very
and let me
misogynistic.
finish.
You're being very misogynistic.
Yeah, we heard you.
You can't have the right to speak and not allow me to speak. Can you shut
maybe
up?
find a
And
nicer
because
way
these
to
are
say
Okay, can we just look at, I cannot zoom, but can we just look at Piers's face right now? Piers is just like, perfect. This is perfect. Keep on telling her to shut up. This is perfect. This is going to be the headline. Shut up, please. Shut up. He did say please.
are figures that are confirmed by the United
Shut up.
Nations.
Shut up is a
And
very
you cannot
rude,
tolerate
shut up is a very
held
rude
hearing the
comment
truth
to a woman.
and
Just
reality.
as, like,
Shut up your
from my
shut
opinion-
your mouth up and let me finish, please. I did not interrupt you.
Very
If you
polite,
interrupt me, I will not
very
speak.
diplomatic.
Mr. Pierce, you have
Now
to
you
be
see
fair
what the
and run the
Palestinian
show
leadership is
properly.
like.
Do you want to?
Mr. Pierce is already planning about what he's going to order at lunch. He's like, I had the egg salad yesterday, and I do like the lox, but I don't know if they're going to be available. I mean, are they fresh? When are the lox delivered? When are they smoked? Are they Alaskan based? That's a long flight. I'm not sure, but I do. Maybe I'll just go with the egg salad again. And where are my biscuits? You're like, this is like, homie is on planet. He is not paying attention right now. He's not going to do anything. And again, someone said this earlier about this clip, but I catch some strays here. Watch.
To do that, or shall
Okay, well,
I
here's
leave your
what I-
show?
Don't lie. Don't lie about numbers. Please
No, I
don't
don't
lie
want you-
about
I don't want
numbers.
you to leave the
If
show.
Dr.
No, no, no,
Baruti
please,
told
let
me
me
to shut
finish
up,
my answer.
I would.
Hang
So
on,
You can't
can
can
allow
you all
this
talk
can you
over
let
each
him
other?
finish?
Nobody can hear anything. Let me
You
please,
can't
can everyone
allow
just
this
please?
lady to keep interrupting me.
No, but I would say for the
Can
record,
I finish my,
Mustafa,
talk, my response?
I don't
please?
think repeatedly shouting "shut
No,
up"
let
at
me
a woman
finish
is
my
particularly
talk. Let me
edifying
finish
either.
my
So,
talk.
okay, you may finish your point. Yes.
Okay, but it's not because she's a woman. It's because she's interrupting me. Can you ask them not to interrupt?
It's not because she's a woman. It's because she's a bitch. Can we just? She's a bitch. It's fine. She's just a bitch.
me? My condition to participate in your show is that I will not be interrupted and I will be treated in a civilized manner. Will you provide
will
that,
treat
or
you in a
I will leave your
civilized
show?
manner.
It's up to you.
I will treat you in a civilized manner, but I think what she was doing,
Then
and
no
maybe I can ask you
interruption.
this.
You are the
Okay,
one
but she
who
was-
is
she
Mr.
was-
Pierce. You are the one who's running
Yes.
the show. You are the one who's
understand.
running the show. You are
I
biased
understand.
to Israel.
What-
we know
what-
that. You are pro-Israeli.
I
We
understand.
know that. I don't care about
I'm
this.
not-
I am
I'm not
ready
pro
to answer
anybody.
any of your questions, but don't let
Mr.
your
Barghouti.
guests. Don't let your guests
Mr.
interrupt
Barghouti.
me.
Your
As-
guess, I got included. I wasn't doing. All I was trying to say is the following, which I will say in a little bit. But it's funny because Mr. Barghouti is like the Dr. Barghouti is like, what is like Siri? Show me an image of no fucks left to give. That's Barghouti.
As you know, I have given
Can I
a
answer
platform
now?
to more pro-Palestinian
So
guests.
I'm
than
gonna
any other show in the world. Right? So
zoom
I
in.
don't-
I
I'm not
mean,
taking
fast
sides.
forward a
I
little
don't take
bit.
You
sides.
are allowing this lady. You are allowing.
No, I
you
just
are
told you
allowing
to finish
this
your
lady to
point.
interrupt me. She should not interrupt
No,
me.
I've asked her not to.
Well, then let me finish
your point.
This situation was initiated. This situation was initiated because Netanyahu wanted to provoke Iran. He wants to prolong this war as long as he can.
Yes,
so
including
that
the
he
invasion
can
of Rafah is
continue
going on
the
now.
slaughter of the Palestinian people.
Yes, this
He
is the
knows
goal.
very well that the first day of the end of this war, the last day of this war, will be the first day of the end of his political career. He knows he will go to jail because of 4 cases of corruption against him. He knows he will be investigated for the fact that he failed on the 7th of October, and now he's failing in this war. And this man wants to drag the whole Middle East into a terrible fight. He wants to provoke Iran so that exactly what happened will happen, which is to provoke the United States to go into a war with Iran, like the United States was provoked to go into a war with Iraq. That is the reality. And so this whole situation was provoked by an unacceptable attack on a diplomatic mission. Even in wars, countries don't attack diplomatic missions of others. And in this case, Israel violated that law. He provoked also the war by attacking 7 and killing 7 international aid workers, and he continues the genocide against Palestinians. The figures are correct because that's what the United Nations say. 41,000 Palestinians killed.
It's also what then Biden admitted that he also follows, and what every international agency admits that yes, they follow. And if the counting is bad now, it's because there are no people left to count. That those people are in body bags, or in mass graves. I don't think that the murdered have even been dignified with a body bag, as if the IDF really cared about their own body bags on October 7th, which were, as we've talked about on this show, mixed up and confused and mishandled thanks to the first responders who were on the ground, who were and are a propaganda outlet known as the Zaka Group that was not deliberately, but deliberately fundraising off of the atrocities of October 7th, and then just doing whatever with the remaining body parts. Oh, but there's definitely evidence of rape. Where? There are 2 heads in a body bag, you psychos.
Including 7,000 under the rebel, including 15,000 children, including 10,000 women at least, and there are 76,000 other Palestinians injured. Israel is conducting 3 war crimes at the same time: the war crime of genocide, the war crime of ethnic cleansing, and the war crime of collective punishment. And that's why you have about 700,000 people now starving in the north, including 350,000 children.
I just have to speed it up. Sorry,
you spoke
it's
about
long.
Terrorism. Who is the terrorist here? Is it the people who are struggling to get their freedom from the longest occupation in modern history? The people who are trying to get out of the system of apartheid? Or is it those who are oppressing them? Let me tell you, the same European mind, the same mind that allowed the horrible Holocaust against Jewish people, is the same mind that is allowing now a Holocaust against Palestinian people. And these people don't care about Jews, don't care about Palestinians, don't care about Arabs. They only care about their interest, about their economic gains, and about a continuation of a settler colonial project that is subjecting Palestinians to oppression and subjecting the whole region.
Bring in the other guests.
So this is really, I just think that piece that he said was really important, is the same mind that created the Holocaust is the same mind that is doing these atrocities to the Palestinian people. And he doesn't mean Jews, right? He doesn't mean like Judaism birthed the Holocaust. They did it to themselves, right? Which, if you're bad faith, that's how you would somehow interpret that. And what he said, sidebar, would fall under anti-Semitic hate speech in this country, as per our Congress's most latest legislation that they passed, that says if you make comparisons between the actions of the Nazis and the actions of the Israeli government, you're anti-Semitic. Now, here's what's funny about that. Why would you even need to include that in any kind of list of what is or is not anti-Semitic? Why would anyone make that comparison at all to begin with? Isn't that strange? Like, it'd be like me going like, hey guys, look, you can disagree with me politically, but you please do not compare me to R. Kelly. Just like R. Kelly and I are nothing alike. I don't like to hang out at high schools, and I definitely don't have like, anyone in my home against their will. So if you say like, if you compare me to R. Kelly, that's a bridge too far. Like, a squeeze, like, so that's basically what he's saying. And he is saying that it is a supremacist, a white supremacist, an ethno-nationalist mind state that gave us Nazism and this idea that there is a pure race, and that is giving, and anything can be used to justify it. And this ethno-nationalism that we see in Israel that is being used to justify, these are the heathens, these are the Amalek, the Palestinians, the Muslims, they could be Christian, I don't care. And they're the bad ones. These are the bad people that need to be eradicated and cleansed from this holy land and this beautiful place. And only then can we have peace. That is what they're saying. Obviously, when they say terrorist or Hamas, it's just a stand-in, because we all know who they're actually killing. They don't, or won't admit it. But anyway, so good old Franny gets in. What are we, minute? I don't know how long
No,
we're
a
in on
very
this.
dangerous path. That is the reality.
Okay, I've given you I gave you a long time to speak there. Let me bring in Francesca. You were nodding to a lot of what you were just hearing there from
No,
Mustafa
thank you.
Barghouti. Did you broadly agree with him?
I do. And if Mr. Barghouti ever told me to shut up, Dr. Barghouti, I would shut up because I've greatly admired his work over these many years. Look, I'm coming at this as, first of all, solid line. That's all I wanted to say. I was like, if Dr. Barghouti told me to shut up, I'd be like, an American. I'm coming at this as someone who just paid their taxes far too much. If you ask me, I'm not a billionaire. They pay next to nothing. And my tax money went to funding what I believe is a genocide and what 57% of Biden voters say is a genocide. That just came out, whether you like it or not. And I also come at this as a mom. All right. I have an 18-month-old daughter, and there are 10,000 women in Gaza who were killed, and 6,000 of them were mothers. There are 19,000 orphans in Gaza right now, and 60,000 pregnant women who are giving birth in abject conditions, who are struggling to eat, to feed themselves, to feed their unborn children, and mothers who are struggling to even nurse because you need so many calories when you're a nursing mom, right? And they are starving. So that's where I'm coming at this from. Why? I'm asking President Biden, why are we continuing to fund this? And thankfully, in response to the Iranian attack, right, which whether, okay, so back on that, look, I really hate when people say I'm a mom, ergo, because usually it's like, I'm a mom. That's why I don't want none of these kids with their kitty litter coming in here and turning my kid into a furry. Like, that's usually where it goes. I'm a mom. That's why I have like an American flag emoji in my fucking bio. Like, who cares? The reason I say I'm a mom is because, and the reason it matters to be a parent in this time is a couple things, and I just want to explain it really quickly. It's that the disproportionate number of children that are being slaughtered in Gaza is like unprecedented. Gaza has a population that is one of the youngest in the world. 50% of Gazans, of the 2.1 million people who live in Gaza, are under the age of 18. So the reason we're seeing so many of the dead that are children is because Gaza is not just a imprisoned population, but they're children. And it does hit a lot harder when you're a parent for a couple reasons. Number one, you do everything to make sure we are so stupid with all the things we do to make sure our kids are happy, right? Well, you don't want this? Oh, please, no, I'll throw the oatmeal in my face and I will make you pancakes. Like, whatever it is. Okay, get this. Because I don't want my child to wake up from a nap early, I move the garbage cans that are picked up on Tuesdays. If she's napping at home on a Tuesday and garbage is picking up, I move it down a whole block so she doesn't wake up. That's how much we care about the sound that might wake up our child. Can you imagine having a sleeping child with the sounds of bombs dropping? You never sleep. You'll never sleep, right? And the other thing is, there's reality. How do I explain this to my kid, right? How do I keep them entertained? You know, there's a foosball table at a refugee camp. Let's go there. Let's send them there. Then it gets fucking bombed. Like, how do we live for 7 months entertaining a growing child? 7 months of a year and a half, let's say an 18-month-old child's life is half their life, a little bit less than half their life, right? It's a huge chunk of their life. So their life is just being under attack. So that's why, and then finally, and I don't want to get super grim with this, but the reason it is really fucked as a parent to watch all of this is because you see dead children in the arms of their parents. And as a parent, you know how much a child weighs and what it feels like. What it feels like to hold an infant, what it feels like to hold an 8-month-old, what it feels like to hold a 10-month-old, a 1-year-old baby, my 18-month-old baby. And you see these mothers and these parents holding their babies in their arms for the last time, and you know that your child has fallen asleep in your arms just like that. Just like that. That is why it matters, and it's different this time to be a parent and watch all of this unfold. That is why you see, you know, mommy bloggers and the birthing community, many of whom have stayed silent, but a lot of whom have been very radicalized around this because they see the amount of kids being targeted, and their whole thing is kids. You know, what do they want to play with? What do they want to eat? Here, your baby is you know, 72 weeks old. Like, what does it want to eat at week 73? Like, all these kinds of things. And then we are like flooded with these images. So that's why it is so radicalizing and relevant. Mommy bloggers suck, Looney Tunes, but also they're kind of showing up. A lot of them are showing up right now. So here I am. Then I go into the Iran stuff. Or real, whatever it was. Biden has actually, for the first time, hallelujah, argued for some amount of restraint, saying we're not going to go there in an offensive against Iran, depending on what Israel does. Now, that's fine. But also, I'm going to just point out, we're still funding them with billions of dollars of weapons. None of that money, none of that aid has been cut off, as up in arms and upset as some Israeli officials are. And final point, it's very funny to be lectured about. Yeah. It's funny to be lectured about human rights. I love the delay. Don't you love a delay?
Go on, finish your point. Sorry.
Final point. It's funny to be lectured about human rights. Oh, Iran doesn't have human rights. Look, I'm no fan of the Iranian regime. I don't come on here to stump for the Iranian regime. I don't stump for the American regime. I stump for humans and human rights. But it is funny that Israel, which is basically controlled its population and occupies an entire people in order to not make them citizens, in order to deny them fundamental human rights by design, that they are then lecturing other countries about what they do to their own people. Give me a break. We all see through this. So, I mean, crushed it, right? That's a great answer. Like, this woman is the deputy mayor of Jerusalem. Like, this is an occupied city. They have been, you know, in Sheikh Jarrah, like years ago, we all heard about the Palestinians who were been forced from their homes in East Jerusalem. You know, this is a city that is more and more and more, you know, owned by Israel. And we obviously, the movement of the U.S. embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem was hugely political, happened under Trump. Guess who didn't fucking move it back? Joe fucking Biden, right? So it truly is bizarre to be like, you know, we pay a little bit of attention. Like, you can't do a misdirection to Iran. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm pretty sure the women of Iran have got Iran covered. Like, yes, we should support them. But this is not a discussion about Iran.
Okay.
Now she freaks out. Now she's like, oh, you're a mom? I'm going to just sort of lob this at you for some reason.
Here's what I would say to you is
how do you feel about 1-year-old Kafir Bibas, who is currently in a dungeon, who was kidnapped by Hamas terrorists? A 1-year-old. How do you feel about that as a mom? A 1-year-old little baby, ginger baby called
that is terrible.
Bibas.
That is terrible. 1-year-old.
Do you think, would you want your government to go and save your baby? Would you want your government to go and save your baby? Just a question. I'm a mom.
Tell
also.
the Israeli
would
government.
You want your government to save your baby?
That. I'm just like, first of all, we just said like 15,000 children. You're telling me about one. Cool. But also, like, would you want your government to go in and say, yeah, go save them? Boo, there goes the IDF. How many ground troops, how many IDF ground soldiers have you seen burrowing into Hamas tunnels to try and save hostages? I mean, I haven't seen the footage. You know what I've seen? I've seen death falling from the sky, and I have seen IDF soldiers ransacking civilians' homes and dressing up in women's lingerie, clearly, obviously, they do that because they're terrified for their lives. I mean, they're really fearful, and they're really serious about getting this 1-year-old baby back. Like, they want her back. And so, and in order to get the baby, they have to dress up in the lingerie to lure they have to dress up like the baby's mom. But you see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying?
Would
Maybe
you
a
want your
ceasefire
government
would be
to
a
save
good
your
way to
baby?
start doing that.
So
Yeah.
yes, so 2 years ago, 2 days ago, Hamas rejected another deal for a ceasefire, a very generous deal for a ceasefire, so we can bring back our babies, like your 18-month-old baby. What do you say to that? A ceasefire. They rejected a ceasefire 2
I'm sure
days
you're
ago.
right.
You don't know your
Yes,
facts. I don't know who you are.
Okay, this is where I really should have gone harder.
I don't know what gives you credibility to come on the show, but I'm asking you as a mother.
Pierce, can I ask
2
a
days
question?
ago, we could have already seen a ceasefire, and Hamas said no. They have a 1-year-old baby and his
Excuse me,
3-year-old
Deputy
brother
Mayor of
and their
Jerusalem.
mother.
I know
And
that,
the
that
mother.
Israel is
That's
planning to
not
go
And their
forward with an
mother.
invasion of Rafah.
And their
They're going to
mother.
Okay,
invade
As a
let me.
mother.
Okay,
How is
As
that
a
hang on
mother.
a
on the
second.
table?
All right,
As a
don't all talk
mother.
at once.
As a mother, I don't know. I'm just like a mom. As a mother, this is the best part. As a mother, why don't you know about the latest ceasefire deal is just a very funny phraseology. Like, if you think that my only credibility is being a mom, then literally you're probably asking the wrong person. Because, I mean, not just anyone, but many people can, squeeze out a baby. The point is thus. Here's where I fucked up. Because when she says, "Who are you?" I don't know who you are. And like, this is the thing with the line of like the ceasefire, which we all know 2 weeks later, insert SpongeBob 2 weeks later, literally Hamas is like, yeah, we're all good on a ceasefire. And Israel's like, no, but we really wanted to invade Rafah, and they're doing it. And the whole thing with, again, the ceasefire, I've talked about this before, is that Israel's generous offer is basically, you give up all the hostages and then maybe we'll think about stopping bombing. And Hamas has always said, no, you need a ceasefire and then we'll release hostages. How do we know we'll be safe? How do we know they'll be safe? How do you even physically coordinate a ceasefire when motherfuckers are targeting aid workers and convoys from the sky in with precision missiles? Like, what guarantee would there be that even those hostages could get out safe? So again, the entire, they've rejected it again. Everything that we've seen in 7 months, if you guys have just paying attention to Israel-Palestine, is exactly what we've seen in 75 years and the Israeli Zionist talking points that we've seen, which is, the Palestinians were offered a state and they rejected it. So, guess we got to kill them all. Beep, boop, boop. Like, that is, number one, not true. Number two, not the reason why you justify genocide, right? Does anything justify what we're seeing now? I don't think so. So here's where I fucked up, though. Lesson for Franny. Go hard, bitch. Like, when she says, "Who are you?" I'm your worst nightmare, ho. Okay? I'm someone, and I tried to show some shade, Deputy Mayor, a little hard on the D, but it's like, bitch, I'm someone who pays attention and cares. You know how you guys are losing? Because even me, nobody, random pundit commentator understands that you guys are doing a genocide. That's how you know that I'm in the right. Because anyway, so I had another comeback, but I forgot it. It was like a couple weeks ago. Anyway, we'll workshop it. Anyway.
As a mother, how do you feel about Hamas rejecting the peace
Pierce,
deal
let me
in
take
order
this
to
up,
stop
please.
the war?
Okay, so I'm going to leave it there just because then Mustafa Barghouti and Fleur over here, again, just a shame to the F names. I love a good F name, but Fleur is really fucking it up. They go back and forth, and I don't see a moment to jump in, so I'm just kind of like, I just pantomime. Like, I wish I knew sign language because I'd probably just sign the rest of it, and then you know how signers always have fun little moments. I would probably just do that. What's going on, Frantifa? If you haven't already, subscribe to this channel right now. Hit that button. And also, you can become a patron and support the show every single week. Get access to bonus episodes and exclusive merchandise. Patreon.com/bitchuationroom. Do it.